Hello there, and welcome. My name is Calliope, and I'm going to be taking care of your examination today. So I'd love to start by doing a scalp inspection. This will just involve me running my fingers through your hair, looking at the hairline, the skin underneath the hair, feeling for any lumps or bumps, that sort of thing. Do you mind if I start taking a look? Okay, excellent. So we're just going to start here at the hairline and just kind of work our way around the back. Good. Let me know if there's any pain or discomfort at all. That's important for me to know. Kind of looking at the back here. Good. Okay, so that looks pretty great. Now I'm just going to be doing some palpation. This is where we might get into anything that might feel tender. Anything? No? Okay, I'm just gonna make sure here. The back. Okay, excellent. Let me adjust. Note that down. No signs of injury, no lesions, no infestations, and no tenderness upon palpation. Okay. So, I am now going to be moving on to your eyes. So, if I could have you just follow my fingers that are making a little V here, I'm just going to have you follow them around as they move. I want you to use only your eyes without moving the whole head. Okay? Okay, so we'll start right here. And we're just going to be testing the 6 cardinal directions of gaze. You could just keep following my fingers here. Good. We'll do our normal H test, and then I'm just going to have you follow these as they come. So my fingers come in and out of your vision here. Distance-wise, not outside of your vision. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to have you follow this finger, right, as it comes in and out, in, out, good, in, and out, okay, good. So to test your peripheral vision, I'm going to have you focus on my nose here, okay? And I will have my fingers just inside your vision. And while you're still looking at my nose, I want you to tell me when you see my fingers wiggling, okay? Alright, so let me know when you see them wiggle. And what side? Left, right, right, left, 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 right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, left. Both. Wonderful. Now, can you look at my face here and tell me if there's any part of my face that looks like it's missing at all? If there's any sort of blank or blurry spot. Okay, and that lines up with our other findings here. So, we have cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 are intact. Those are your eye movement nerves. And we have an intact peripheral vision as well. All fields intact. So now I have a couple sets of cards here. And these are very rudimentary, but they get the job done. And what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you tell me what you see on the card, alright? Just tell me as fast as you can. 9, 2, 8, 3, 0, 4, 7, 6. Good. Go ahead and shuffle these up. Just want to make sure that visual information is being processed correctly. Three, 8, 7, 4, 9, 0, 6, 2. Okay. Now we're going to do 2 other tests here. I'm going to have you tell me what shape you see first. Square, circle, pentagon, rectangle, triangle, diamond, or rhomboid, rhombus, Once more. Triangle. Pentagon. Rectangle. Rhombus. Diamond. Square. And circle. Okay. Now for our next test here. This might be a little difficult because these colors are a little faded, a little on the pastel side. But I'm going to have you just tell me what color you see, okay? Green, yellow, yeah, blue, navy-ish, yeah, blue, red, pink. Good. I really should get some updated cards here, but they've worked well so far, so we're a little slow on that. Dark blue, light blue, red, yellow, pink, green. Excellent. Let's put those together. Okay. Now let's grab the light. I'm going to have you focus on my nose here, and I'm going to bring the light into your vision. If you could try to not blink, okay? Good. Good. Mm-hmm. Good. Yep. Yes. Yep. Good. So our pupillary response is intact there. The pupils are equal, round, reactive to light. We've already established that they can accommodate, that they can focus on objects far away and up close. P-E-R-R-L-A, perla, our pupillary response here. So, let's take a look at your ears now. So, do you have any pain in your ears currently? No. Let me know if you do when I put the otoscope in your ear, alright? Okay, so we're gonna go up and back, and then here we're gonna take a little look here. So we have a little inventory list of what to look for. We've got ear canal, tympanic membrane, what the color should be, if there's any swelling present, any perforation or irritation, which everything looks pretty great to me. Now the other ear. Right in here. Okay, there we are. So we have an open, non-obstructed ear canal. We have no redness, which is what we like to see. Now I'm going to do a simple hearing test with you. So I'm going to be rubbing my fingers in front of one ear or the other. And I'd just like you to tell me what side you hear it on, right? Okay. Left. Right. 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 Left. Both. Left. Left. Right. Both. Excellent. So cranial nerve 8, our vestibulocochlear nerve is intact. So now we're going to move on to your nose, your mouth, and your throat. So let me gather my bits here. The speculum off of the otoscope. Okay. Let's look at your nose. I'm going to have you tip your head back so we can just look at the nose. So I don't know if this happens to you, but I always have a song in my head. I've got a permanent radio going on from when I go to bed, and oftentimes it's even in my dreams, and then when I wake up. There was a period of time for about 6 or 7 months where every day I would wake up and my head would start playing Piano Man by Billy Joel. Let's go ahead and look at your mouth and your throat. You could just open your mouth. But this morning I woke up and I had Gods of War by Def Leppard stuck in my head. Just gonna look at your teeth here. And I adore Def Leppard. I listen to their Hysteria and Pyromania albums like at least twice a year. In my first car, I only had a cassette player, and I only had 2 cassettes, because back then, people didn't really make cassettes anymore. If I could have you just stick out your tongue. Good. I had 2 cassettes. I had Tom Petty's Greatest Hits, and I had Def Leppard's Hysteria. And those got quite a bit of mileage. Could you say "ah" for me? Good. Can you lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth? Good. Okay, you can close your mouth. But I was always someone who listened to music that was too old for me, as my mom would say. I'm just going to look at the neck here. And most of that was because I was blessed with parents that had excellent taste in music. Good. Okay, your trachea is midline. Let's go ahead and listen to the heart and lungs. Okay, you can just breathe normally here. We'll start with our aortic valve here. But when my father would put music on, he listened to Def Leppard. He had this super faded shirt he got from a concert. I remember him wearing that you really couldn't even read the words anymore. Good. He listened to Metallica, Twisted Sister, but he also listened to songs like Run, Run Away by Slade, Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox. One of his favorites was Fat Bottom Girls by Queen, which is a banger. Good. I'm going to have you take a deep breath in and out. Good. Deep breath in, out. 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 Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in, out. Along on the back here. Deep breath in, out. 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 Last one right here. Deep breath in and out. I'm going to listen to the abdomen here. Just breathe normally. In contrast to my father, my mama would put on Tom Petty. I grew up with Tom Petty from a young age. She loved Phil Collins, John Cougar Mellencamp, which was unfortunately the worst concert we had ever been to. We were so excited, but that was the only concert we ever intentionally left early. But she was also a little eclectic, and she loved songs like House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, Tainted Love by Soft Cell, Boys of Summer by Don Henley, St. Elmo's Fire, John Parr. There was a lot of music in our household when I was growing up. My mama played a CD every single day when she was making supper. Okay, I'm going to be feeling around in your abdomen a bit, so this might be a little uncomfortable. Okay. But for one of my birthdays, I was given tickets to see Def Leppard, and that was my second concert. When I met my partner and we talked about what concerts we had seen, he had said that Def Leppard was his first concert. When we talked some more about, the kind of artists we'd seen, he also mentioned he'd seen Metallica. I've seen Metallica, but he saw Metallica with Danzig opening. So together we've seen some cool acts. We've seen Black Flag and B-52s and Patti Smith. No pain or tenderness here? Okay, I'm going to go in a little deeper using 2 hands together. Again, let me know if it's painful. It'll probably be uncomfortable, but painful we don't want. So yeah, we got along just fine in terms of music. But I listen to a lot of 80s music. My absolute favorite genre is 80s American hardcore, also known as second wave punk. So that's bands like Black Flag, it's the most famous, Minor Threat, Bad Brains. Okay, all good there? Alright, you have Dead Kennedys, Adolescents, Agent Orange, that sort of thing. Okay, heart and lungs, the abdomen. I'm going to look at your extremities now, your arms and your legs. And I also like just a really wide range of bands from the 80s. I mean, it's not just hardcore, but it's post-punk, it's hair metal, it's classic pop. Okay, the skin feels warm and dry to the touch, not clammy or sweaty or anything like that. On my typical 80s playlist, what you'll mostly find, who shows up the most, is Def Leppard, of course, AC/DC, Van Halen, Eddie Money, Fleetwood Mac. I see a lot of Pat Benatar on there, actually, which I didn't realize I liked so many Pat Benatar songs, but I guess I do. Okay, can you just hold out your hands with your palms facing the floor, backs of the hands towards the ceiling? Good. I'm just going to look at your hands and the joints here. Yeah, kind of a wide-ranging taste, but I mean, the 80s, like, if I pick up a new song, the odds are it's from 1981 or 2003. There's really no in between. I mean, the 80s, just there was so much going on musically. I mean, the first goth record is considered to be Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus, and that was 1979. And then you have Joy Division's Unknown Pleasures, peak album, so great. They were so out of their time. That comes out 1979. American hardcore, second wave punk, that technically starts. First wave punk ends when the Sex Pistols break up, and then you get into second wave. So, like, technically kind of on the cusp of that 70s into 80s line. Technically Black Flag was formed in the 70s, but their most important album, the Damaged album, that comes out in 1981. It's my favorite album of theirs. Can you flip your hands over, please? Good. Just gonna look for any contracture here, palmar thickening. Look at the thenar and hypothenar muscles, that sort of thing. But 1981 was when, like, a lot of it was happening. I mean, in terms of post-punk, you have, like, Cure comes out 1980, 16 seconds. My partner and I have beat that record to death. We love it so much. But then you have 1981, which is Damaged, Black Flag. You have the first 2 7-inches from Minor Threat. You have Adolescence, self-titled, 1981. You have TSOL, True Sounds of Liberty. Their album Dance With Me, 1981. Agent Orange, Living in Darkness, 1981, and that's a fantastic album. That's one of my favorites. Okay, could you just show me your elbows here? Okay, I'm just looking for psoriatic plaques here. You have Bad Brain, self-titled, that's 1982. One of my other favorite albums is Agnostic Front's Victim in Pain, that's 1984, so I mean, everything really in that chunk, it was happening. Okay, now we're going to do some range of movement and strength testing. So if I could have you just copy what I'm doing. Okay, bring your wrists up, down, in, out, roll in, roll out. Okay. And if you could bring your elbows in and out, or your lower arms at your elbows. Good. And then bring your arms all the way up, all the way down, all the way forward, all the way back. Okay, and if I can have you just put your arms like this, I'm going to try to push you. I want you to resist me. And I'm going to try to pull you. I want you to resist me. Good. And I'm going to put my hands on your shoulders. I want you to shrug up against me, pressing down. If you could bring your shoulders up, I'm going to try to press them down. I want you to resist me. Good. Okay, so let's see. Oh. Fingers here. If I could have you hold onto my fingers hard as you can, and then we're going to do a pincer grip, okay? So hold on to my 2 fingers. Good. And then pinch my 1 fingers. Good. Okay. Good strength there. Good range of movement. So yeah, it was really happening in the early 80s, and the sound just matures more as you get deeper into the 80s. Let's see. Oh. One of my absolute favorite albums is by TSOL, and it follows. So they had their hardcore album Dance With Me 1981. They switched to basically a post-punk sound 1984 with Change Today, and it is just, I could eat that with a spoon. It's just so good. I'm going to take a look at your legs here. Okay, just going to do some palpation, check the skin, that sort of thing. And everybody I show TSOL to, whether it's, and it's that specific album, whether it's Flowers by the Door, Red Shadows, Black Magic, I mean, everybody really likes it. They're like, what is that? Pretty great. So yeah, the 80s were bumping. They were great in terms of music. The older I get, the more that I listen to an older sound, because I like to know where a sound comes from. I certainly listen to modern punk quite a bit, but it's really cool to see specifically where these sounds originated from. For example, if you like Blink-182, check out Descendants. That's where they got a big part of their influence from. And if you like something like Blink-182, but maybe like a little more ska, you can do a really good album is Choking Victims, No Gods, No Managers, 1999. So I mean, you just find all these threads between bands and albums. Okay, and if I could see your foot here. Yep, just put it on my knee here. Okay, we're gonna look at the sole of the foot. The toes. Yeah, I tend to know most about American hardcore because that's what I listen to the most of. Besides pop punk. Check capillary refill here. But you know, I don't actually really like first wave that much. First wave punk. That's like the Ramones, Blondie, Dead Boys, that sort of thing. And then before that you have proto-punk, which is MC5, Iggy and the Stooges. You have New York Dolls, love the Dolls, and Velvet Underground are your main ones. Okay, other foot. Good. But first wave punk was mostly an attitude and a look. I mean, Blondie was pop. Ramones was pop punk, first pop punk band. Patti Smith put out the first punk record. Punk rock was invented by women, not England. You know, but I love the Sex Pistols. I do like the Dead Boys, Sonic Reducer. Great tune. Okay, go ahead and put your feet down. Alright, let's go ahead and look at some range of movement so that I could have you kick out your feet so your knees bend in and out. Okay, move your feet up, down, in, out, rotate in, rotate out. Good. I'm going to put my hands on top of your thighs. I'm going to be pushing down. I want you to push up against me. Good. And I'm going to hook my hands under your thighs. I want you to push down. I'm going to try to push up. Good. I'm going to put my hands in front of your shins. I want you to kick out against me. Good. And I'm going to hook my hands behind your calves, and I'm going to try to pull you towards me. I'd like you to resist me. Good. Okay. I'm going to try to push your feet down. I want you to resist me. I'm going to try to pull them up. If you could resist me. Good. Okay. Just make it a bit of noise here. But yeah, I always considered where punk really got its sound was second wave, and then, you know, after that, you have the rise of alt music, and that comes out of punk, and, you know, post-punk, post-hardcore. And then you have 90s SoCal, which is excellent. I know quite a bit about the SoCal sound. A lot of punk in general came from California. The second wave, you had like Minor Threat and Bad Brains in the DC area. Misfits is associated with hardcore, but they're horror punk. They're like Descendants, where they're in the same scene, and some of their songs have the sound, but they're kind of their own thing. I'm going to be doing some reflexes here. So if I could see your foot up here, do the Achilles tendon reflex. But yeah, most of punk comes from California, in suburban areas actually. Okay, and I'm just gonna hold your foot. Go ahead and let it relax. Okay, we're just gonna go. Good. Good. And your other foot. Good. And then, you know, eventually you get a scene like the Midwest, for example. It starts with Naked Ray Gun. I think they started in hardcore. A lot of bands started in hardcore that you don't necessarily know of. Social Distortion, Beastie Boys, Bad Religion. If I could have you just let your legs just kind of hang, let them relax. Good. And we'll get our reflexes. But yeah, the Midwest scene, punk scene, you have Screeching Weasel, Naked Ray Gun, I believe the Lawrence Arms, Alkaline Trio. Good. And then if I could have you take your arm and just lay it across your leg. I'll let your hand just dangle. Okay. Okay, we'll get the triceps reflex here. And I'm just going to hold your arm for the biceps reflex. Good. And the other arm. So yeah, I'm not sure if you could tell, but I'm very passionate about music. Really of all flavors. Okay. Triceps reflex. And I'll hold your arm for the biceps reflex. Good. So let's go down the line here. We did our scalp examination, our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, throat, heart and lungs, abdomen. We did range of movement, strength testing, inspection, palpation and reflexes for the extremities. Patellar, triceps, biceps. Okay. Alright, so that is it on my end. Did you have any questions at all? Or feel that I missed anything? Okay, excellent. Let me just sign off here. And that will be it. So we had a little examination and a little instructional lesson on 80s music. I'd like to thank you so much for coming in today, letting me talk at you, letting me do this exam. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you.